Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, a number of things have happened. Now, we had Deku and his crew. They were there on Long Ring Longland Island when Whitebeard had his last stand. Now, Whitebeard is an old, dying man. He lost an arm, half of his face was melted. He was poisoned. He lost both of his feet. Parts of his legs were missing, and Whitebeard, he was being shot at. He had flames covering his face, and parts of his torso were hurt, injured. The man had lethal injuries covering his entire body. However, he still fought tooth and nail for his sons to get the fuck off the island while he handled admirals in front of him, missing limbs and missing parts of his own torso. He fought tooth and nail to the very last breath. He died on his feet defying the admirals. And that was one hell of a way to go. Now, All For One took Whitebeard's body, and that was the last time we saw him. And currently a month has passed. A few more things have been happening. Deku and his crew get back to Amazon Lily. And Deku, he was still going through quite a lot of things. The woman who helped to raise him, Ava, she's dead. Deku honored a request she told him quite a few years ago. However, Deku, he hoped it would never have come to this. Ava was laughing maniacally, crying hysterically, and trying to keep her own sanity, but she could feel it slipping away every single time she opened her mouth. She could hardly breathe, and she was crying out in agony. And Deku, he held her close together. He held her close to him and tried to make sure that everything would be okay. And Deku, he snapped her neck, and then laid her to rest. Now, currently Deku, he doesn't lay there in bed, thinking about a few things that happened. And currently Deku, he actually does get someone to turn, hearing the knock on his door. Him still gonna roll over in his hammock. Him going to ignore the knocking, since his hangover does take priority. Now, someone does not actually open the door. Them going to walk in, as currently Momo does a step into the room. Her going to express to Izuku, walking over to the bed and bring her hand out. Currently Deku's going to turn and tell her, just go. Izuku, we need to get Ava's body off the ship. Huh. Might take a few days. Todoroki's ice still needs to melt. I know. But might be able to move it. Bakugo's gonna try. And if you don't help, the ice sculpture might break. Get Kirishima to do it. I'm not so sure about that. Then get fucking Ochako. Calm down. No, just go. I'm not gonna do that. Why? You know why. You made me one of your seconds. And when you can't think rationally, I make the calls. Me or Bakugo. Alright? Now you need to get out of bed because you haven't been out of your room in a long time. Why do you care? I care because you're a captain. You were there when he fell. That's going to mean something. Whitebeard's death is going to affect a lot of things, Izuku, and we all know that. You do too. You need to do something. I do plan to do something. I need a minute. How did she die? Huh? Most of us think it was self-inflicted. How did Ava die? I'm not telling any of you. That's between me and her. A lot of us think she did it to herself, but I think otherwise. Momo, just fuck off. Deku currently gonna throw his feet onto the ground. Gonna turn and grab the bottle and stand up. Him walking past Momo to get off the boat. Being back on Amazon Lily does provide Deku with some air. And right now he does at least have to do a few things. Talk to Boa, and then give Ava a proper rest, a place she can rest her soul, her body. He he never thought it'd come to this. And right now Deku, he's gonna walk off the ship. Boa's still gonna stand there and stare at Deku, her with her own smile on her face before she's just gonna read Deku with her haki. And on her face is gonna something drop. She can feel that Deku, he has a pain in his heart. And that's not good. And currently Boa's gonna watch Deku walk down the docks. Her gonna turn her head and is gonna walk back to the palace. Deku will come back on his own terms. And she just had something that she did want to tell him too. Some information that might be interesting for him to hear. Now, currently Deku, he does sort of walk the island. Him thinking about a few things that some of the women here do just stare at him, turning their heads and being a bit confused. They know who he is. Hancock mentioned him quite a lot. And every woman here, they're still a bit surprised at seeing a man. He mainly stayed in the palace, and his friends, they were kept in a special area. I mean, this is certainly interesting though. A man's walking around the island, and currently Deku, he does spend the day searching for a place to lay Ava to rest. Now, Deku does find a place, up on a hill that overlooks the sea, and it certainly is quite a nice place. It's quiet, and it's definitely nice. And Deku, he does want to sit there, thinking about a few things, staring out at the ocean. And right now while that's happening, we do currently have where everybody, they went back to the small area Boa gave them. And they all did try to unpack their things, and some of them were thinking about what happened. An Emperor of the Sea died. That's going to cause a power vacuum. Someone will try and step in to fill that role of an emperor, or there will be a small war over what's going on. The four emperor system, that land that Whitebeard owned, it's been disrupted. All of it is up for grabs. And that does mean a number of things. His men might still be alive, but people, they respected Whitebeard not only because of his power, but because of how he ran things. He was a good man, but he was also a great pirate. And that does say quite a lot. They might respect the man, but now that he's dead, they're going to get what they can, even whenever the body is still warm. They're going to take any amount of territory they can, and this means quite a bit of things. The government, they're being seen as a lot more in charge here, because when they do go to release reports about what happened to Whitebeard, it is talked about for a while. Now, right now, this is about a month after Whitebeard's death, and some of the things that have already been happening have started to happen. And Deku, he currently does still sit there out on that hill. As everyone, they are in that small little house. Currently, all of them sat down and we're trying to talk about a few things. They were trying to figure out what to do. Ochako wants to get back out there. She wants to figure out what to do. And there actually is Kirishima. Kirishima's beating himself up about a lot of things. He was on that island. He had power there. He could have been God on that island. But he didn't have the power or strength to do anything. Whitebeard, All Might, and that one guy, he was outclassed and outgunned by all of them. All Might doesn't have a devil fruit. Whitebeard's ability literally ripped his stone body apart. And All For One, he used some sort of thing to mess with him, like what Ochako does. And that pisses him off. Now, Kirishima, he wants to understand and train a bit more. And he's actually a bit more annoyed. He wants to blame Deku for his lack of training. He wants to blame it on him. I mean, Mina was integral in running off two of the admirals. And whenever she came into the battlefield, people went into retreat. She was crucial there. But there was him. He was just nothing. And right now Kirishima is going to voice his complaints. He feels like he didn't do a goddamn thing. Fact of the matter is, Deku, if they had more people there, it could have turned out better. And currently everyone is going to turn to Kirishima. And Mina does something that stare at him kind of surprised, since he actually believes the words coming out of his own mouth. And there actually currently is Bakugo, who does this stand there sharpening his blade as he is going to turn and stab it down to the ground. You really think so? Hmm? What did you do? What? Bakugo, I tried. You tried. But what happened after that? You were outgunned and outclassed, and you ran with your tail between your legs, Kirishima. Bakugo, calm down. No, no. You took on that one blonde bimbo, and you. I'm going to turn to Momo, talking about it. She could have tried to use her own abilities, but she didn't. She could have tried to do something to take on All for One. That fucking guy there. He knows it. He did the same thing. She did the same thing with Burn the World. She made copies of him. And the fact of the matter is, he doesn't even know what the hell Todoroki was doing. I was trying to kill my dad with that one guy. Who's your dad? The Admiral. He was there on the beach. The Lunarian was with him too. Mina sent him into retreat. See? Fine. At least someone knows how to use their fucking powers. You're trying to blame me for this, Bakugo? What about you? Where were you? Where was I? I was on the beach trying to help Todoroki. That's where I was. I tried to come in, but then I was told we needed to get out of there. Alright? Kirishima, get your shit together. The only one to blame is yourself. I don't need to deal with this. Right now, I'm going to stand up, turning to Bakugo, telling him. Right now, Bakugo and him are supposed to be friends. Fact of the matter is, Deku's what? He's mourning the loss of a woman he knows? Yeah, he is. But guess what? He fought on the battlefield. He was injured. You got away with a few scratches, Kirishima. I almost burned my hands off. I was almost covered in magma. Where were you? Fuck you. I don't need to take this. I'm going to stand up and walk away. And Ronald Bakugo just look at everyone, shouting at them. All of them need to get their shit together. Toru ran off the battlefield the moment that guy almost sucked her into that weird thing. She ran. She needs to get it together. All of them need to get it together. They were outclassed and outgunned here. That's the moral of the story. And honestly, he doesn't even get it. Deku's messed up right now. So what? We'll take command while he stays here? We might have to. Then again, anyone else got some ideas? I have a few. I'm going to turn to Momo. Or not Momo. Ochako. What? How about we just... I'm going to do my own thing, alright? Really? Yeah, really. I have plans. And I just want to get off this island. Okay? After what happened, people will know our faces. We'll be wanted. Besides, if that guy's after us, he's gonna try and find us, right? Maybe. Maybe? Bakugo, I'm what? Just a guy with swords? I got that. I didn't not eat a fancy fucking fruit. Okay, bitch? You wanna try that again? Really? You wanna try going with me? Okay, you two stop it. Enough. We're not going to get in between the two. We're gonna talk about it. She is gonna head home to Japan. That's what she'll do. Those two can bicker amongst each other. If they're gonna try and fight and kill each other, then do it. But if he's gonna get off the island, get off the fucking island. We're gonna turn to Ochako, telling her she doesn't care what any of them do. Right now they can do their own things. Hell, if all of them are so angry at each other, then how about they all just go, leave? How about that? Right? Is that what everyone wants? Yeah. Maybe you're right. Sure. We can't just blame him. I wasn't blaming him, Bakugo. I know you're not. I'm saying we all gotta get our shit together. Do better. And right now, I don't think we can all work together like that. After what we saw today, none of us are strong enough. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave the island and deal with some shit myself. Maybe, maybe go out and learn more about swordsmanship. Hell, I got luck with Endeavor. Yeah, you did. Honestly, I might try and find those guys from before. Bakugo gonna turn to Todoroki, and Todoroki doesn't want to talk about it. Ace had his brother's fruit. That's what he knows. His brother had the fire fruit, and the two used to spar. Maybe getting better with his own abilities might help him take down his dad. That's his goal for right now. And Bakugo doesn't stare at Todoroki. He has his goal set on killing his father. He wants to be a better swordsman. Ochako and Toru, the two, are fucking thieves. And Momo just wants to go home and deal with her own hotel bullshit. She controls part of a city. Whoop-de-fucking do. So guess what? That's how things are. And currently Bakugo's a turn. Him gonna head down to the docks to try and find a Kuja ship, which might be heading out. Now, Bakugo is gonna run to Kirishima. And currently everybody, they are still trying to do their own thing. But there actually is Lillian. Lillian is hearing everybody argue. Everybody yell at each other. They were there for a guy who died. And they're trying to just do their own thing and abandon Deku. They're trying to abandon her father. And that does not seem good to her. Now, currently Lillian does go to turn and walk out the door. Her wanting to know exactly what happened. Her wanting to know where her dad is. She didn't get involved, but she was kind of scared. I mean, all those guys out there and all those a lot of explosions, it freaked her out. The place turned into an active battlefield. And then she can feel the waves in the boat just shaking back and forth violently. That's all she knows she heard. She just hit on the boat. And that made her feel bad. Now, currently Lillian does go to try and find Deku. And Deku, he does still going to sit there drunk next to a tree. Him is going to look down, trying to think about what to do. He already knows he wants to bury her here. He already knows a few more things. But there's still a few things kicking around in his own head. A few more ideas about what he wants to do. And currently someone's going to walk up and going to sit down. Them going to actually bring their hand up to Deku. Deku going to turn and see Boa Hancock, who right now is going to lean her head onto his shoulder, asking him if he's okay. No. I lost her. What do you mean? It was... Everyone I've ever known just died. Everyone. My father, Ava, the group that helped raise me, taught me what I know. They were screaming out in agony and they were gone. I tried to fight. I found him. I fucking found him. And he just got away. He got away, Boa. I don't know how to feel about that. I didn't want to retreat, but they just fucking kept... She wouldn't let me go. And I don't know. I couldn't just run back in. A part of me just tried to stay rational, but I could not be rational. I almost struck Momo, and I don't know. I'm losing control of my fucking brain, and I'm angry, Boa. I'm just really angry. Izuku, you're not angry. You're sad. No, I'm mad. Izuku, you do not deal with your own emotions this way. When was the last time you felt like this? A long time ago? Really? Yeah. I don't know. I screamed till my voice was hoarse during a storm on the boat. I still feel sore, but I just want to scream more. You can scream all you want, but it won't bring her back. Don't you think I know that? S- Sorry. You're just. You're trying to help you. Yeah, yeah. Uh, not much, but you care for a drink? Bo gonna look down at the bottle. Her bring her hand up and grabbing onto Deku's hand. I'm going to actually lower the bottle back down to the ground. Her trying to tell him there are always going to be casualties when it comes to being a pirate, being who they are. Whenever she was 18, she took on the role of the Empress for Amazon Lily. They made her a warlord right off the bat, and she started to try and deal with her own forces and how they lose their lives. She has sent soldiers out there to die without even knowing it, and she does beat herself up about that sometimes. But there are times where she knows they would rather die facing a threat than on Amazon Lily. There are cruisers out there who they abandon their post, and they are forever exiled from the island. And that is a bit harsh, but that is their ways. It is what has kept them alive for all this time. And right now, Zuko, he needs to just cry. Just cry. Her and actually don't fully turn to Deku. Bring her hands out and grabbing Deku by his head. Gonna grab him by the shoulder and pull him directly into her chest. And Deku, he does this and gonna sit there. He feels the tears running down his face. And Renner just gonna clutch on a boa. Him gonna start cry himself, listening to her heartbeat. Now, Deku's entire crew, they are going through their own little breakup. And Deku, he has to think back to something else. As Renner, let's cut back about 6 years ago. Currently, a vehicle does a pull to a stop, and right now, Ava just sit there in the driver's seat. Her going to actually turn to Izuku, ask him if he really does think that tonight is a good night for him to do all of this. They've gotten a few things together. The bosses are all going to be in that one little room, and the whole family is there. And Degu's going to turn to her. Him, so I'm just going to nod. And she has to at least look back, telling him, this is definitely going to be one of the craziest things she's ever heard. Though, fact of the matter is, she wasn't here tonight. Though, he really does intend to kill them all. I mean, some of these people, they do have things to do. I mean, lives. Does he really think that that's a good idea? And Deku just gonna look back towards Ava. Him gonna nod again. And she has this similar smile. Deku's really come a long way. At one point he was the boy who kicked a man's head off. But now, he's about to do something that will make him infamous. So, it certainly will be quite intriguing. And around Deku, he actually gonna turn and step out of the vehicle. Him gonna actually bring up his hands and gonna get ready. Him gonna walk across the street and gonna start to stretch his arms. I'm gonna think, bring his hand up and make sure that his torso is intangible. As he's gonna look up towards the door and bring out his hand. Him going to actually bring his hand onto the lock and cover it in light. Him going to then pull down the lock and rip it open. I'm going to bring up his foot and kick the door open as he at least walk into the room. And a ton of people do turn staring at Deku. As Deku, he also expressed to many of them about exactly what's going on here tonight. Now, Ava does sit there in the car. Her starting to hear gunfire go off. As right now she does, they just bring her hand up and light a cigarette. Her thinking about a few things. And currently she has a smoke. As whenever the gunfire is going to die down, she's at a turn. Her watching a man run out of the warehouse. Him covered in blood, and now limping as his leg, it does have a wound in it. Now, the guy is at a turn. Him going to actually try and run, as he just don't stumble down to the right. Him bringing his hand onto the wall and gonna try and push off of it. Him right now just trying to run. And Ava's to turn and watch the guy, who currently is stumbling his way down the street. And that actually is Deku, who currently is at least walk directly out of the door. Him gonna turn and bring with his own hand. Him going to blast the man away as another is with a hole is gonna fly directly through him and he is at least smashed onto the ground. Him gonna lay there, dead on the street. And Deku does a turn and wave his hand up. And right there actually with a shine does gonna tell her everything. Her gonna get out of the car and actually just don't toss her cigarette down. Her gonna step on it and make it go out. Her gonna walk over. And currently she does a step into the room. Her looking around to see everybody in the room is almost dead. Though there are some people left alive. And that is say quite a bit of things. Currently her gonna walk over and interview the men who are sitting there, since they do have wounds covering their bodies. Non-lethal, but still hurting. Now, Ava's gonna sit down. Her gonna express bring up her own hand and putting down a recorder, pressing start, about what she wants them to all understand. Tonight, this is a message. And the message is quite clear. All of them, they have done a few things. They double-crossed their family's agreement. And tonight, she is here to verify the Lightspeed Hitman did everything he was ordered to, including kill the 3 men sitting here at the table. So, a few things are currently going to happen. The Lightspeed Hitman is going to hurt them. Then, they are going to at least explain a few more things. And then, she wants them to talk. They can talk now, and they might be given painful or quick deaths. That does depend. What do they want to do? Tell them where the supplies are? Or would they rather them work for it? Because the man will work for it. Then I'm also going to sit there. And Deku is going to walk over and bring his hands up. Him putting his hands directly into a man's face. And the man, he doesn't start to speak out. Wait, no. Listen, what do you want? Money? We'll pay you off. How much are you paying? How much were you paid? This isn't about money. It's about loyalty. Go ahead. Deku going to start heating up his hands. As one of the light is to increase in heat. The man going to scream out as Deku, he's marking the man's face. And currently Deku is going to bring his hands up, covering the man's eyes. And the man's eyelids start to melt. As the guy is to scream out in pain, and right now the 2 men are going to turn, seeing Deku. Them still somewhat gagged, as Deku, he does at least going to finally hear the man stop screaming. Him going to pull his hands away and push the man over. Him going to actually fall and land onto the ground. Him not even making a sound. And Deku is then going to turn and walk up behind the other man, bring his hand up, and actually going to put one to the side of his face. Him going to actually burn off the cloth and pull it backwards, bring up his hand to the man's face. And the man is going to sit there. As Ava is going to ask the question again, where exactly is it? And the guy is to just scream out. He calls the woman a bitch. He talks about how she's just using this. Deku will actually turn and snap the man's neck. As the man, he does somewhat have his head fall forward limp. And Deku, he's going to turn to the final man, bring up his finger, and going to actually trace it around the man's forehead. Him starting to burn something into the man's forehead as the man, he's screaming out with the gag still in his mouth. Deku bring his hand up and pulling the gag off. And he does to whisper into the man's ear about how if he talks, things will be okay. Easy. He'll give him a quick death. That man, though, he was given something not quick. His neck is broken, but he's fairly certain the man's still alive. Though, he might not have been so lucky. He's going to be in some pain for some time. And Ava's at least going to turn, walking over and going to bend down, bring her hand down and check the man's pulse. It's faint, but it's still there. The man's not dead, but that definitely hurt a lot. He might be unconscious, so they can at least get back to him later. Now, she's at least going to turn, verifying what Deku said, and Deku's going to look back towards the man. as the men they start to blurt out everything they want to know. He saw men die tonight, and hopefully this means he'll be let go. And the man is going to reveal there are crates in the truck. There's one specific crate in the passenger side that should be valuable, the most valuable thing they got, and that should be enough. I mean, what the rumors said are not true. They're not transporting a devil fruit, and that does not make Deku frown. I'm gonna bring his hands up to the man's head, and the man he really does to try and yell out about how he knows what they were transporting, and they need to know. Just let him go, and he can tell them everything they want. And Ava currently does a turn. Her looking at Deku as Deku is bringing his hand to the back of the man's neck. And he is let's go to trace it upwards to the back of the man's skull. Him blasting on a beam of light as the man's head is going to fall forwards. Him dead. Now, Ava does going to press stop on the recorder as she just goes to turn and tell Deku about what to do. As currently she's at least going to watch Deku go to bend down and grab onto the man. Him going to drag the man's body back to the truck, or back to the car, as she's going to head over to the truck and find the fruit on the passenger side. Now, she jumped up into the cab and found it in a box, and that was definitely a bit more annoying. As Curly says won't sit there on the table, her tossing it up in the air, as Deku, he finally is going to come walking back inside. Him with 2 containers of gasoline. Now, she's just going to tell Deku, her sitting there, about what she found. And Deku doesn't look up and step in. Her expressing, has he ever seen one of these before? Huh? Yeah, a smile fruit. You showed me pictures. Yup. Gotta say, only stupid people use these things. Though, they're also tricky. Powerful, but not so good. Well, you got's the better upgrade. Yeah, you've told me before. Mm-hmm. Do what to say, though. Definitely an interesting idea. What would you get if I bit? What would I get if I bit into one of these things? Spider, horse, ape, maybe even a bug or something cute like a bunny. Can't say I'm not curious, but can't say I'm willing to try. Always had shitty luck, you know that? You've said that before. You've done pretty good so far. Yeah, maybe. Izuku, these things are not good. We're gonna bring up our gun. I'm gonna blast it away. As Carnation is gonna turn and drop it to the ground. Expressing to Deku. What this thing was an anomaly. Nature made devil fruits. Somehow. It just sort of happened. And man, they tried to play God. They tried to make devil fruits. But that is trickier, harder to do. No one knows when they happen to be made. All they know is devil fruits started popping up after the Void Century. That's really all they know. And that means quite a lot. All they really do know is that devil fruits, they're the better option. And if she's gonna be honest, if she ever does get a devil fruit, she'd be pretty damn happy. Though, it is honestly a bit more intimidating to see a smile. You know what they're capable of. And that's more terrifying. What do you mean? Izuku, as far as anyone's known or documented, smile fruits don't have a cure. Once you gain their abilities, the only way out is death. I've heard a few stories, and I've even heard of a few methods using smiles that you can use to torture people. I mean, that's what those things are mainly used for. What do you mean? Izuku, you'll gain an animal mutation. You might gain some sort of abilities and get lucky with that, or you could go insane. Honestly, it's a little intimidating even to me. That's why most people who are assassins, they'd rather be killed or shot or tortured. then deal with the fact of a smile existing in their presence. If they're captured, they think that they'll be fed a smile. They can say or do anything they can to try and avoid it, but it will always happen. They'll have to eat one and see what happens. Gain some sort of ability and get lucky and break free, but live like that for the rest of their lives. Or go insane, and that's really not a good option. Some people beg for death, some scream, some cry, some laugh. Don't really know too much about it. Honestly, if that ever happens to me, just, we're gonna bring her hand up. Her pointing the gun directly at her temple. Express to Izuku. Blow her goddamn head off. Now, Deku's gonna somewhat think back currently in the present. And I'm gonna open his eyes. As you know, Deku, he doesn't sit up in his bed. They already buried Ava. Things are done. And he heard about what happened with his crew. He was left a note. And everyone apparently wants to break up, go their own separate ways. Bakugo wants to go out and be a swordsman. Sure, he can do that. Grow more powerful and learn more about hockey. He doesn't care. Then there's Momo. Momo has her own responsibilities, and she's been far enough away from her hotel for a while. It may run itself on its own, but she wants to go home, preferably on a plane if possible. And there currently is Kirishima. He doesn't know where Kirishima is. All he really knows is someone told him that there was a massive argument, and he stormed off. But then there's Mina. Is she still on the island? He doesn't know. Just a lot of shit's been happening. Everyone left. Did he fuck up trying to be a captain? Did he fuck up trying to do something else? Do something good? Did he bite off more than he can chew? Really mess up? There's a lot going through his head, but now he's even more invested in the idea of murdering that guy, the one who took Ava away from him, the one who killed her, the one who tortured her. And it makes Deku mad. He thinks about it a lot more. The rage he feels in his heart, the pain he feels. And it does not feel good. As currently somebody, they do get to actually step out of the ocean and onto Amazon Lily. The man gonna bring his hands up and crack his neck. And gonna somewhat think, looking around and gonna somewhat toss down his bag, the clothes dropping to the ground as the man is to bring his hands up, running them through his silver hair. First off, he needs a drink. Second off, he needs a campfire. Third off, he needs to find something to eat. Let's see. This island, he can't eat the snakes here, so there's that, so he's gotta remember that. Though the meat is a little tender. Good? Yeah, I'll find some animal to eat. Maybe I should go back into the ocean and get something to eat. Go fishing? Yeah, maybe deep sea diving too. Maybe I should go ahead and do that. The man's not gonna turn, thinking about what to do. Ashton is at least gonna swim back into the ocean. He can meet that boy tomorrow, talk to him a bit more, maybe help the boy out. I mean, he did hear about what happened with Whitebeard, and that certainly did say quite a bit of things. Especially because that boy, he's become a bit more of a man. The government had 150 million on his head, but that, it doubled. More than doubled. And the boy, he is wanted and seen as a very big threat by the government. Now, while that is going to happen, we do currently have Deku. He does get to lay there with Boa. Him, with his arms wrapped around her, and thinking about a few things. Boa told him something today. She told him something today that actually somewhat changed how he thought. It was some of the only good news he's ever received. And Deku, he does get to lay there. With her, just a little happy, but still mourning. And it feels odd in his head. Though she's concerned about what it might mean for not only her, but possibly the future. she fell in love, and that's interesting for her. But now she's concerned about one other thing. What might come of this union? Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.